Hi, my name is Adam. Last weekend, I heard about a festival happening in my city. It was a local festival, full of music, food, and dancing. I was very excited to go. I called my friends and asked them, "Do you want to go to the festival with me?" They said, "Yes, let's go and have fun." On Saturday morning, we met near the bus stop. I wore traditional clothes because this event was a cultural celebration. Many people wear traditional clothes during this festival every year. My family was also planning to join later. We bought tickets online. Each ticket was only 20 reals. At the festival, there were beautiful lights everywhere. There were booths for food, games, and handcrafts. I love taking photos, so I brought my camera. I wanted to take photos of everything. At the entrance, there was a big crowd, but everyone was smiling and happy. The music was loud, and I saw many people dancing. The music made me feel alive. My friends were hungry, so we looked for some food. We found a booth selling kabsa, burgers, and sweets. I bought some kabsa and fresh juice. We sat on the grass outside and ate together. It was so peaceful and beautiful. Many families were also sitting outside, enjoying the nice weather and the lovely event. I looked around and said, "I really enjoy this place. It is so nice to be here." My friends agreed. "We love this festival," they said. After lunch, we walked to the main stage. There was a big show with traditional music. A group of men were playing drums, and another group started a folk dance. The crowd was clapping and singing. I felt proud of my culture. One of my friends said, "Let's try the dance." At first, I was shy. But then I joined the line and started dancing too. It was so much fun. Everyone was smiling. We danced for 10 minutes. I was tired, but also very happy. I took many photos of the dancers and the crowd. My camera was full of colorful pictures. Next, we visited the craft section. Many people were selling handmade things like bracelets, clothes, cups, and art. I bought a small bracelet for my sister. My friend bought a colorful scarf for his mother. I also saw people painting, and one artist gave me a free postcard. I thanked him and said, "Your art is beautiful." There were also many games. We played one game where you throw balls and try to win a toy. I won a small stuffed animal. I gave it to a little boy who was watching. He smiled and said, "Thank you." That moment made me feel good inside. At sunset, there was a special light show. All the trees and buildings had colorful lights. It was like magic. Families were taking pictures, and couples were walking hand in hand. The air smelled like food and perfume. The sound of music was still in the background. I looked at my friends and said, "This is one of the best days of the year." They agreed. We all felt relaxed, happy, and connected. The festival brought everyone together, no matter their age or background. While walking through the festival, I saw a small tent with a sign, Language Exchange Corner. I was curious and told my friend, let's check it out. Inside, we found people sitting in a circle speaking different languages. One woman asked, "Do you want to join?" I said, "Sure." I sat with a man from Canada, a woman from India, and 2 students from Egypt. We introduced ourselves and talked in English. I said, "My name is Adam. I'm from Riyadh." The man from Canada smiled and said, "Nice to meet you, Adam. Your English is very good." That made me feel proud. We talked about the festival, food, and favorite hobbies. I said, I like going to the gym and watching movies. The Indian woman said, I like cooking. We laughed a lot and shared our social media accounts. It was nice to speak English with real people. After the talk, I felt more confident. I told my friend, I need to study English more. Maybe I will take an IELTS test. He said, there's a place near here called Avatar Virtual Schools. They have great English teachers. I said, really? I will visit them this week. We walked around more and saw a parade. Children were dancing and waving flags. Some wore traditional clothes and sang beautiful songs. Everyone clapped. I took a video and sent it to my family. My mother replied, "This looks amazing." At one stand, there were old photos of the city. I saw a black and white photo of my neighborhood from 50 years ago. I showed it to my friend and said, "Look, that's where my grandfather used to live." It felt special to see history and culture in one place. As the night continued, we sat on the grass to rest. The sky was full of stars. A young man played the oud and sang softly. His voice was beautiful. We all listened quietly. I said, I wish every weekend was like this. As we walked near the center of the festival, we saw a large area with many food stalls. I told my friend, I'm getting hungry. He laughed and said, let's try something new. We stopped at a small booth with the smell of freshly cooked food. The sign said, traditional dishes. We ordered kabsa, sambusa, and honey dates. The man behind the counter said, this recipe is from my grandmother. I smiled and said, it smells amazing. We sat at a wooden table under some lanterns and started eating. I said, the rice is soft, the chicken is spicy, and the dates are so sweet. My friend said, this is the best kabsa I've had. After eating, we walked toward a corner where kids were playing a traditional game. A young boy invited us to try it. It was a game where you throw a small wooden ring onto bottles. I missed every time. My friend laughed and said, you need more practice. I replied, next time I will win. Nearby, there was a henna artist. She was drawing beautiful designs on people's hands. A little girl looked at her hand and said, wow! I asked the artist, can you draw something simple for me? She smiled and said, of course. I showed my hand to my friend and said, "It's my first time trying henna." Then we saw a group of young men doing a traditional dance. They wore white thobes and danced in a circle. There was music from drums and flutes. I said, "This reminds me of weddings back home." The energy was high, and the crowd clapped along. I recorded a short video for my Instagram story. One of the dancers waved at me and shouted, "Enjoy the festival!" I turned to my friend and said, "This is not just a festival. It's like a memory box full of joy." He nodded and said, "Yes, this is why I love our culture." As we walked back toward the entrance, we saw a photo booth. We took a picture together with funny hats and glasses. The photo printed instantly. I looked at it and said, "This is going on my fridge." Just before leaving, we stopped at a small stall with handmade crafts. I bought a bracelet for my sister. The woman at the stall said, "It's made with local stones." I said, "Thank you, she'll love it." The air was cooler now. The lights were glowing. I looked around and said to myself, "This festival made me feel alive." As we left the festival, I looked back at the colorful lights, the sounds of music, and the happy faces. I turned to my friend and said, "This was one of the best evenings I've had in a long time." He smiled and replied, "It's because we enjoyed the little things, food, games, and memories." While walking to the car, we passed a group of students talking about the history of the festival. One of them said, "This event started 20 years ago to support local craftsmen and artists." I thought, "That's beautiful. It's more than fun, it's culture." In the car, I took out my phone and looked at the photos we took. I saw the photo booth picture, the video of the traditional dance, and a selfie with my henna hand. I posted a story and wrote, "Saudi culture is full of life and heart." As we drove home, I said, "We should come again next year." My friend replied, "Next time, bring your family. They'll love it." I nodded and said, "Yes, I'll tell my sister about the bracelet I bought her. She loves gifts like that." At home, I opened my bag and took out the bracelet, the festival map, and the small handmade keychain I got for free. I placed them on my desk and smiled. These are not just items, they are souvenirs of a great evening. The next morning, I woke up with a happy feeling. I opened my social media and saw many likes and comments on my story. One of my cousins messaged, "Where is this festival? I want to go." I replied, "It's every October. Come visit next time." I went to the kitchen, made tea, and sat at the table. My mom came in and asked, "Did you have fun yesterday?" I said, "Yes, Mom. It was more than fun. It made me proud of our culture." Later that day, I wore the festival t-shirt and went out. A man at the grocery store noticed it and said, "Hey, I was there too." We laughed and talked for a few minutes. That small connection made me think, these events don't just entertain, they bring people together. I wrote in my notebook, "I want to explore more local events. They help me feel connected to my city, my roots, and the people around me. That evening, as I lay in bed, I thought about all the moments, the smell of kabsa, the sound of drums, the children's games, and the warm smiles. I whispered, "Thank you for the memories." And just like that, a simple visit to a local festival became a story I'll tell again and again.